Chuka is a software architect and engineer with experience in product architecture, design, DevOps, and full-stack development roles. He's the founder of Studiopedia, a production company leveraging technology to help innovators and educators create and produce content and distribute content globally. He previously was an engineering lead within the new product experimentation team at Meta. Chuka is also a Google developer expert, a Google certified professional cloud architect, a mentor in the Google Startups program, a published author, and YouTuber. Might I add that Chuka is someone who has worked behind the scenes at the platform for many, many years. So it's a great honor and privilege to welcome him to the stage this time. Welcome with me, Chuka, Ofili.
Okay. Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. It's still morning. As Ngozi has already introduced me, my name is Chuka Ofili, and I'll be here to talk about transforming Nigeria's youth employment landscape using technology. Of course, you heard my profile. So tech, now yeah, I did. But before I start, I wanted to take a second to thank Pastor Podra. And I know he's not in the room, and I know he can hear me, for gracing me with the honor to be here on this stage to share my knowledge with everyone. Now, before I move forward, let me reintroduce myself. I have 20 plus years of experience building technology solutions across 4 or 5 different continents. As she has mentioned, I'm a Google developer expert. I'm a mentor with the Google for Startups program. I'm an angel investor. I'm a published author, and I'm a software engineer. So why am I saying this? I'll say one note. I read urban and regional planning in school. Now, that's no shade to urban and regional planning, okay? There are people who do that for a living, and I'm really happy for them. But that was never really my calling. I wanted to go in to read mathematics, computer science, actually. I was given mathematics, and then I switched to architecture, and they didn't give me architecture, and then I read urban and regional planning. And my parents said, you must get a degree. So I went and did and got a degree. But am I using that degree today? No. Everything I know about technology today was mostly self-taught. So now that I've talked a bit about my background and why probably I have some of these points I want to share today, I'll start with one of the focal points, which is usually why we have this May 1st platform edition, which is unemployment, right? Creating jobs, figuring out ways to create jobs. This year, we're talking about how we can use technology to innovate our way into the future. What I'm here to really share is how we can use technology to figure out ways to improve employment. I don't want to say solve unemployment because I don't think any country has really solved that, right? So in 2018, the National Bureau of Statistics has said that we have 23% of unemployed people. And in 2020, 33%. And in 2022, 37%. Are we seeing a trend? 2023, they've not done it yet, but they're estimating that close to half, that's 40% of our youth will be unemployed. And you know what? Nigerian tech bros, air quotes, are one of the most celebrated people you can find anywhere on the continent. Please clap for them first. Let's start with that. Now, we all know that there's going to be a global demand. No, there isn't going to be. There is a global demand for technology, right? We have, and when I say technology skills, okay? With the advent of AI, a lot of people think that, AI is going to come and take jobs away, and I disagree. At least for another 20 years until maybe, who knows, Skynet will happen. I don't know if that will happen. But I feel by 2025, 97 million jobs would have been created because of technology. And 133 million, as an estimate, of course, will be created because of the AI expansions that we are seeing today. But what about the other roles that exist in technology? Okay, you have engineering roles. data and AI is very obvious. People and culture, all right? And then let me break that down. People who decide that they want to become technopreneurs or entrepreneurs need to go out, figure out the idea, create value, and start a company. But the technology is not going to run the company, is it? It is people like you and I that will run it. So therefore, you don't necessarily need to be technically inclined or be an engineer or what have you to work in technology. Technology businesses, they need to sell, correct? They need product people. They need content production. They need to market their businesses. All of this are roles in technology that are usually non-technical in nature, but there will be a global demand because guess what? People like you and I are creating value. And as long as we're creating value to meet the demand for technology skills out there, there would always be available jobs. So now that we know that, okay, there are going to be jobs, right? 97 million jobs, 133 million jobs specific just to AI. And we are there, just right there in the center, Nigeria, in the yellow box. How can we be happy? How can we get the Nigerian youth to tap into this? The 80 million Nigerian youth, how can we get them to tap into it? Sounds like simple. Technology outsourcing. It's already happening today, but definitely not at the scale that we want it to happen. I currently am one of those people. I'm one of the people who, in fact, let me put it this way. Did you know that I was the first engineering hire Facebook ever employed in Nigeria? I even want to say Africa, but I'm not sure. And I don't have a computer science degree. I don't have, well, maybe today I have certifications, fine, but that's when I was upskilling myself, right? But if you look at my journey, I don't have anything that is formal as respect to educating, to technology education. And yet, first software engineering hire. So it's possible, it's doable. If I can export my skills to a company like Meta, which is probably one of the biggest tech companies in the world, I mean, of course, outside of Google and Microsoft, I believe that there are going to be more opportunities for people like you in the room, your cousins, your nieces, to do this. And here's the funny thing. We are primed for it. India today is leading the pack. They have, I don't know what the current stat is, but over 1 billion people, right? And they are known as the epicenter today for technology outsourcing. This is a country that bootstrapped themselves up by the feet, taught themselves, and exported their skill sets. I'm sure there are a lot of entrepreneurs here who own companies today that have hired Indians as their technology partners, yes? I don't want to say show of hands because it's not India we're promoting here, it's Nigeria, right? So we are an English-speaking country, so which means we can easily communicate, right? We have a large population, large youthful population. Let me put it this way. For those of you that earn in currency, in foreign currency, you know what that means for your life, right? If you export your skill, you earn in foreign currency, you become a what? Tech bro. And that is the dream. That is what I am here to sell. I'm saying, you in your own ecosystem, what can you do to influence yourself to get skills that you can export outside? I'm talking from a technology point of view, but you can also do it for other fields and other professions. Now, our topic today is about entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. And I want to link, what I'm talking about in terms of exporting tech skills and what we are talking about today. So you see, excuse me, I'm very parched. Can I get some water? Yeah. So today, we have this endless cycle of technopreneurs hiring intrapreneurs who then go out to become technopreneurs and then hire intrapreneurs, and the cycle goes on and on and on. It's not immediately obvious to us. Why am I saying this? Because the process of developing yourself as a technology specialist who would then eventually want to export skills comes with going and having some sort of training with technopreneurs who are trying to create value. And I think creating value is probably the important thing. If you have technology skills, then you are valuable because somebody else will will pay you for that value. The one thing I know about value is that money follows value wherever it goes. So find a way to create value for yourselves. And as I'm a technology biased person, I'll say use technology, right? Now, I'll talk about certain case studies of Technopreneurs starting companies, hiring entrepreneurs who then go out, start companies, so on and so forth. Flutterwave is one of the biggest examples. Today, they are the first unicorn. Okay, second unicorn, E. Who is the first unicorn? Andela or Flutterwave? Flutterwave. Okay. So Flutterwave is the first unicorn, a $1 billion company. But then they created a ecosystem of entrepreneurs. They hired people who eventually became entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are people who innovate within a company. But then because they've been doing so much innovation, they then saw gaps in the ecosystem and then decided to go out and then start their own companies. And then when they started their own companies, guess what they did too? They hired. On this slide now, I have someone called Femi Olanikpekun. He started a company called Vent HQ. But he was a product innovation manager at Flutterwave for 3 years before he went out to start his. Excuse me. Now, the picture that I'm painting is that most of all this change starts with someone who wants to create value. There are outliers, don't get me wrong, and not everyone is going to be the same, right? Everybody does have a part to play. I'll talk about another case study, Paystack. How many of us know Paystack? They were acquired for what, $200 million? Jesus, if I had that money in my pocket, it would have been hard for me to come and speak at the platform. Probably be somewhere in the Bahamas enjoying life. But I'm here, so until I make my own, don't worry, I'll still come even if I make it. No, when I make it, actually. But they also created an ecosystem of entrepreneurs who did what? Left and became Technopreneurs. A Technopreneur is just someone that is an entrepreneur that uses tech to start a company. So don't mind all these fancy words I'm saying. Someone that builds a company that is tech-enabled. He then hires entrepreneurs again, and then so on and so forth. I will call out one example, Mono. Mono is a technology company run by the CEO, Abdul. And Abdul also did his time at Paystack. I'll talk about the last one. OPay. How many of us know OPay? I'm sure all of us have used it during this cash crunch that time. A lot of POS withdrawals and so on and so forth. But Rewan Olalere worked at OPay for maybe 2-3 years. And then obviously saw gaps while he was an entrepreneur there, and then said, hey, this is an opportunity that I need to go and chase. And then he went out and started Lemonade Finance. I don't want to talk about the TPV that they do daily, but it's in the billions. It's possible. Now, I want to say something. Don't look at the problems in your ecosystem as problems. Use them or look at them as potential opportunities. The truth is that you can't create a solution for a scenario that is not called a problem. And Nigeria, we are full of what? I did not say it. You said it. Nobody should quote me. But because there are many problems, that means there are many opportunities. And if there are many opportunities, then there is promise for you to do what? Create value. Value is the key thing that you should be able to sell. If you're not valuable to anybody, nobody is going to be willing to pay you any money. If money is what you are chasing, go and create value. Just go and create value. Now, everyone has a role to play. Everyone has a role to play. Whether you are in government, or you are in the private sector, or you are an educational body, or you are, whether you are a parent or a guardian, everybody has a role to play. I'll talk about some of those roles. So for government, federal, state, and local, what can you do? What can you do to enable Nigerian youths take advantage of these global opportunities that exist or that are coming, or the ability for them to introspect, and create value. The first thing I think government should think about doing, or doing more of, because I'm not saying that they're not doing anything, but it's just doing more of, is implement technology policies, and those policies help with the startup culture in Nigeria. Nigeria is big, but if you notice, most of all the states that are populous are the ones that get all the attention. Lagos, Abuja. Is there any other states? Where? You said Rivers. 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 Okay. I believe you. But what am I getting at? Lagos and Abuja are not the only states in Nigeria. They are not the only place where there are Nigerian youth. You have Osun, Ekiti, Anambra, Abia, Calabar, Akwa Ibom. These states in Nigeria have governments. These governments can do policies and put things in place to help the youth in those states to be able to achieve their dreams. Enable pro-tech laws. Pro-technology laws are there for a reason. I don't want to start going into what California has done to help the local startup ecosystem. The research is there. Go check it out. Private sector. I know Google is leading the pack here, right? And it's not an obvious bias because I'm a Google developer expert. It's just the truth. But all these other private companies, these are external ones. What about you internally? Do you create internship programs at your companies? If you are a startup, most of the startups that are always looking to hire cooked products, people that are already mature, that have already experienced themselves. How would the young people who are coming in learn anything? How would they become entrepreneurs if you don't hire them? You need to create internship programs in your companies to allow these young people who are learning and bootstrapping themselves the opportunity to test out or solidify their knowledge. Learning institutions. Okay. So I'm not going to throw shade. I'll just say that ad hoc programs can be done. A lot of people who are learning on their own. So why don't we start at primary school? I see some secondary school students here. Primary school, secondary school. Catch them while they are young. Encourage them in technology. So to encourage them, you create curricula that will enable them learn in the four walls of a classroom, not outside of the classroom. That's where we should be starting. And then parents and guardians, right? Encourage curiosity, encourage exploration, provide age-appropriate resources, set boundaries for responsible use. I mean, your parents, they shouldn't be on their tablet 24/7 a day, right? Even if the tablet is what they're using to learn. Everyone has a role to play, so including you. So the question is, okay, now, I've said all of this about trying to tap into this global market, right? And maybe I'm speaking to you because you are a non-tech professional or someone who is looking to get into tech so that you can become a technopreneur or so that you can become an entrepreneur, right? Also, you can just export your talent. Just become a tech bro that's earning in pounds and dollars. How can you go about it? There are institutions in Nigeria, and then there are also institutions online. I've divided them into two categories, right? The technical skills, called technical skills, so engineering. We have Decagon. Decagon is run by a friend named Chuka. A lot of us know who he is. And the way Decagon works is that you actually can get employed, get into their program. The program obviously costs money, but even if you don't have money, you can enroll at, I think, 0 rates, and I don't want to put him on the spot. But the goal is that you can learn, and then after you finish learning, they will find placement for you, and then once you've found placement, over a period of time, you pay back whatever it is that you owe. University. You can go there to learn. If you're the type that wants to learn in the four walls of a classroom, old school and university are good choices for you. These are homegrown companies. Now, if you're the type that says, okay, I don't want to learn because I am in maybe Jos and I can't get to Decagon because Decagon is not around here. Hey, government, that's an opportunity. If you have like one decagon in every state, you can imagine the rapid growth that would come. But you can also go online. You just need a laptop. You need internet access. And guess what? You can access sites like Udacity. They offer nano-degree programs that are recognized around the world, by the way. And if you do a 3-month program with them in one course or in one area that you're interested in, and they have thousands of courses, whether it's software engineering, back-end engineering, front-end engineering, product design, so on and so forth. These are the skills, these things I just listed are the skills that we're talking about that people are looking for. The reason why I know is because I worked at Meta. And before Meta, I also was affiliated with Google. And just working with those two entities and organizations just lets me know what is coming and how you can prepare yourself for that. Udemy is also another platform. Udemy is probably one of the cheapest ones. It won't cost you a lot, but you will get information and knowledge that you can use to bootstrap yourself. Back in the day, there was no Udacity or Udemy, there was no Decagon. So you can imagine how I learned the hard way on the streets, as we used to say. Okay, I shouldn't say the streets. But all this information is there. The internet, they say, is a free university. Tap into it. Not Instagram for 3 hours a day. Or Snapchat or what. You know what? I'll move on. Thank you.